0. Stage 1, defrosting complete. Stage 2 will be complete in 10 minutes. Once stage 2 is complete, the lock will automatically disengage.
Jetzt stell dir mal vor, er ist noch nicht gesprungen und spürt plötzlich den Schlüssel am Fuß. Und macht es auf und dann ist alles nur hocken da. Ich glaube, wir sollten das nicht tun. Ich glaube, wir hätten weiter warten müssen, ne? So in etwa. Right, cold sleep.
What?
These pods can put people into cold sleep. It uses something called CAS to freeze human bodies without destroying their cells.
So, Ms. Akane's like an ice cube?
I think so. All ice.
No, she's not.
Then we gotta wait till she melts?
Yeah.
So how about you tell us your story while we wait, Kay? Specifically, why do you know Akane?
I remembered.
What do you remember?
Everything.
Sure.
I was born and raised in this facility. It's called Rhizome 9. A rhizome is an underground plant stem that spreads by sending out roots. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? This facility is a little like a rhizome. Supposedly, that's why they call these installations that. The number comes from the facility's number. There are 54 rhizomes on the moon, and this is the 9th one. Well, I suppose the other ones don't really matter to you, do they? In any event, I grew up here with Akane and Zero Senior. I watched them create the AB project.
The AB project?
Yes. Its purpose is to send Phi and Sigma, or their consciousnesses at least, to the past.
Back 45 years, right?
Yes.
So, you want us to change history, huh? Go back and keep Radical 6 from getting out, and stop the reactors from exploding. That's our mission?
Well, not exactly.
What do you mean?
It's true that the ultimate goal of the project is to keep Radical 6 from spreading to the general population. But even if you do make it back, you won't be able to do much. By now, it's already too late.
Too late?
What do you
Let
mean?
me begin at the beginning. You might be thinking that Zero Senior and Akane were the ones who created all this, but that's not entirely correct. They only followed the histories they'd already seen. It was the only choice they had. Nothing less than the future of mankind is at stake. We need the two of you to jump through timelines while maintaining your memories. That is why you had to play the AB game, and why the chromatic doors were necessary. By forcing multiple options, you could make numerous jumps. We speculated that jumping more would strengthen your memories. The puzzles were also there for a purpose. Some theories hold that a moment of insight when you solve a puzzle strengthens your connection to the fourth dimension. That was the reason for the puzzles. Your infection with Radical 6 was also a vital part of our plan. By slowing down your brain's processing speed, we can store your potential. With that energy stored up, we just had to provide a life-or-death situation to launch your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Like a bullet from a slingshot.
Wait. Hold on just a minute here. You keep talking about Sigma and Phi, but what about the rest of us? Why did you bring us here?
That's simple. In earlier histories, you were all here in Rhizome 9. We needed you here to accurately replicate those histories. Although I suppose that's probably not a good enough explanation for you. In a sense, though, it is the truth. Our primary goal was to replicate history. The rest is... Yes, I suppose I should explain. Very well. I will try and do so in a way you can understand. First, Alice and Clover. They were abducted 45 years and 1 month ago, on December 22nd, 2028. The location is Earth, of course. More specifically, Los Angeles, California. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
After being kidnapped, your bodies were sent to a facility under Akane's direction. You were placed in treatment pods and immediately put into cold sleep. 4 months later, you arrived at this facility. The date you finally arrived was April 14th, 2029. Your trip from Earth to this facility was aboard a spaceship powered by an annihilation engine. Following your arrival, your pods were placed in long-term storage. Does that make sense?
Are you telling me we were sleeping in those pods here for 45 years?
Yes, in preparation for this day.
But why? What do you need us for?
You are an Esper, aren't you, Clover? I mean that you are able to access the fourth dimension. Am I wrong?
Did Akane tell you?
In a manner of speaking. As I've already explained, the purpose of this project is to send Sigma and Phi's consciousnesses to the past. Espers are able to sort of resonate with one another. which can amplify their power. You understand? And this is why we brought you here, Clover.
What about me?
We needed your help, Alice, to deactivate Dio's bombs.
Huh? But I didn't do anything.
But you did. In another history, you were able to perform a prime decomposition on the 25-digit integer that Dio left behind. Only you could do that sort of thing. Because of your feat of mathematics, we were about to determine that Dio had planted the bombs. Then we were able to question him and get the password for the number 31. Finally, we used that information to stop the bomb in this timeline. Without your help, Alice, we would have been reduced to nothing more than so much space dust. This history exists because of your presence. Now, let me explain why we needed Tenmyoji and Quark. Tenmyoji is simple. We needed you for the same reason we needed Clover. You are able to access the fourth dimension. Almost half a century ago, you used that ability to save a young girl, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
We needed you to resonate with Sigma and Phi. So we brought you here. All it took was a messenger.
Do you want to see Akane? If you do, come with me. I was a fool and fell for it.
And you brought Quark with you. In fact, you insisted that he come.
Yeah, I know. I guess you were worried about leaving me alone, huh? He kept saying he couldn't run off to the moon and leave me behind.
I'm sorry, Quark. If I hadn't been so stupid and selfish, none of this would have happened to you. I never thought this would happen. Can you ever forgive me?
Oh, don't worry about it. I mean, I agreed to come with you. I thought the moon would be way more interesting than boring old Earth. What kid would turn that down?
We didn't see the messenger after we got on the ship. It was on autopilot. As soon as we got in, it headed straight for the moon. During the trip, Zero told me to keep quiet once we got there. I don't remember anything after we landed.
Then there was a bunch of that white smoke, and we passed out, and when I woke up, I was in the AB room.
Now, Dio. His real name is Left, and he's the leader of a terrorist organization called the Myrmidons. He was ordered to come here. The Myrmidons are under the control of an organization called Free the Soul, which is in turn controlled by a man known as Brother. It was Brother who orchestrated the release of Radical 6 into the general population 45 years ago. Do you remember what Phi mentioned earlier? The ultimate purpose of the AB project is to change history and keep Radical 6 from being released. If we succeed, that would be bad for Brother and his organization. Our success would prevent them from creating the ideal world they're working toward. That is why Brother sent Left, his trusted lieutenant, to this facility. They needed to stop the AB project. So, Dio was given two tasks. The first was to eliminate Akane, the architect of the AB project. The second was to join the AB game and win it. If Dio won the game, the AB project would not be completed, at least not in that timeline. In other words, in that world, the project would have been stopped. If things didn't go as planned, Dio was given a contingency plan. If you cannot murder Akane and win the game, destroy Rhizome 9, hence the bombs.
Can I ask you something?
Perhaps.
How did Brother know about the AB project?
He was also an Esper. We can set Brother aside for now, though. May I proceed?
No one's objected. We were all curious.
Excellent. That explains everyone, save two, Luna and myself. Sigma and Phi already know the truth about Luna. I don't believe I should reveal any more, however. I think it would be more appropriate if you could ask Luna yourselves at a later time. Would that be all right with you, Luna?
Yes, that's okay.
As for me, as I said before, I was born and raised here. The rest of you were brought to this facility, but I've never left. That makes me someone close to Zero Senior and Akane.
Hey, I've been wondering, who is Zero Senior?
You've already met him, Sigma, in another timeline.
Yeah, well, I saw a hologram. I still don't know who he is.
Stage 2 is complete. TP00 unlocking.
It looks like it's finished. Shall we open the pod?
Yeah, let's do it. All of us gathered around the pod. The glass was still covered with frost, hiding the contents.
Okay, let's get started then. Ready?
Violet laid her hand on the lever and looked around at us. I swallowed. Yeah,
All
anytime.
right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Bum bum. Bum bum! Who is in there? Who is in there? It's Sigma! What? It's me! Suddenly my head was full of memories from other timelines. I'd seen something like this before. The warehouse on floor B, in front of the white door. Kay was lying in front of me. I grabbed his mask and saw my own face, with pretty long lashes. I never figured out who he really was. Why was there a man with my face underneath Kay's armor? Plastic surgery? I didn't make sense. After I'd seen him, I was injected with tuberculin, and that was the end of that. But wait, if the person in the pod was the same person I'd seen on the floor B warehouse. Who was wearing Kay's armor?
You finally noticed. Didn't I tell you? You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you.
No. Oh my god, you're...
Yes, I am.
Akane Kurashiki.
It's you, June. I mean, Akane, from... But you're old.
You're old.
Yes, that's correct. I haven't spoken to you in a very long time, Clover. Or you, Junpei.
Junpei?
Akane, long time no see.
I could barely hear what they were saying. My mind was still reeling.
Wieso ist sie immer noch schockiert, dass das Junpei ist, wenn sie gehört hat, dass er vor was auch immer wie vielen Jahrhunderten ein kleines Mädchen gerettet hat?
Jahrhunderten, das waren 45 Jahre.
Weißt du, was ich meine?
It felt like all the air had been knocked out of me and it was all I could do not to collapse right then and there.
When? How long?
Do you remember when the two of you saved me in the warehouse? Once you saved me, you went back to your future. Well, your minds did at least. I carried your bodies to the 3rd AB room, and then took Dio's to the 5th. After that, I went into the 1st room and borrowed Kay's armor.
So by the time you and Clover came out, you'd already...
Yes.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Dio killed you. And then Luna took your body to the 6th room. You couldn't have been in Kay's armor.
No, it was me. In this timeline, at least. In this one, I wasn't murdered by Dio. You two saved me. It's just like Schrodinger's cat.
Schrodinger's.
Your actions in the future decided who would be inside the armor in the past.
What? No, that's nuts.
Alright, what about the other history? The one where you weren't saved. What happens then? Who's wearing the armor?
That's quite simple. The man in front of you.
Him?
That's correct. Whenever I'm not in the armor, he is.
What about the memory loss?
For my part, I confess that I lied. He, on the other hand, was telling the truth. Large doses of Soporil can cause memory loss. I gave him a rather large dose.
Ich wundere, dass er nicht gestorben ist. Das heißt, sie haben keine Erinnerungslöschdroge in Zero Tiny Lampers, sondern sie geben mir einfach nur einen Haufen Soporil Beta. Alles wurde von Ace, alles nur weil Ace dieses Ding erfunden hat.
Machen wir nicht, kann man noch schön Schnitt machen.
So, who is he?
You've never seen him before?
No.
What about the rest of you?
I have no idea who he is.
I've never seen him before.
Yikes, ganz schön gemein, Leute. Sieht ja nur so aus wie ich.
Me either.
Total stranger.
Bitch, what? Hey, come on, what are you guys saying? Right here? Here? Pointing at me?
Like me? He?
Same face?
Every single one of them.
Are you alright, Mr. Sigma?
Now that's just hurt.
Did you hit your head or something?
Yes, with you. Huh? What? It didn't make any sense. Why didn't they recognize me?
Sigma, Your consciousness can jump through time. You can inhabit your body in the past or in the future.
What does it mean?
Don't you get it? You've jumped to the future from 45 years ago.
Yeah? I looked around frantically. Water, water, a pond. Das, was ich vorher nicht im Teich gesehen hat, war. I ran to it and threw myself down onto my knees. Crawling on all fours, I approached the edge. My heart was hammering inside my chest. A cold sweat trickled down my spine. Calm down, calm down, calm down, damn it! I struggled to take deep breaths. Then slowly, I peered into the pond looking for my reflection.
You're fucking ugly.
What? No, this can't be real. This face.
It's your face, Dr. Sigma Climb. Although, to the you
Climb.
that's behind it now, it's your face 45 years from now.
Wie kommen wir eigentlich von Engineering zu Genetics? Wir sind ein Engineering-Student. Wieso sind wir intelligent genug, das Ganze hier zu machen?
Genetic engineering.
Ja.
Zero, the mastermind of the AB project, is you.
What? No, that's not possible. That's bullshit.
No, it's the truth. Fighting it isn't going to do you any good. Please, Doctor.
I'm not a
You
doctor.
will be a pioneer in the field of genetic engineering.
Das ist du kannst aber keine Maschinen auf den Menschen übertragen.
Das hat damit nichts zu tun.
Ja, trotzdem.
Genetic engineering heißt eigentlich die Verbesserung des Körpers.
Ja, aber...
Im Sinne von,
Ja,
mit den Genen.
ja,
und
aber
den
er hat
Arten.
Engineering gelernt im Sinne von, ich bastel mir jetzt einen Supercomputer zusammen oder irgendwas anderes, das der Gravitation widersetzt. Never play a Jenga with an engineering team. They will wreck you. Oder diese Cola und Jack Dan, diese Red Bull und Wodka Mischung mit 10 Strohhalmen, die dann an einen einzigen Strohhalm landen, aus dem du trinken kannst. 5 Flaschen Red Bull, 5 Flaschen Wodka, jeder ein Strohhalm, der zu einem langen Strohhalm geht und dann kannst du draus trinken und hast einen Alkoholshot. You're lying!
No, I'm not. You created him. Well, I suppose I should say you are going to create him.
Great.
His name is Kyle Climb, your clone. That is why he looks just like a younger version of yourself. 23 years ago, in the biolab here in Rhizome 9, you created Kyle. Well, I suppose for you, that's still in the future. When I said I was born and raised here, I was still pretending to be him. The gravity here is only 1/6 of Earth's. If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to be weaker than normal human ones. But you prepared for that. You gave him that armor.
Baby Armor war süß. Baby Armor, okay, war putzig. Warum haben die eine Baby-Version? Warum sah die selbst die Rüstung aus wie ein Baby? Also selbst das Gesicht.
Ever since he was born, he's lived inside of it.
Warum hebt er eigentlich jetzt nicht ab?
It kept his muscles and bones strong. He wasn't forced into it for the nonary game. He's been wearing it every day, all his life.
But why would Future Me create a clone?
He was to be your spare. If something happened to you before the project began, he would take your place. I mentioned before that the AB projects A and B stood for after and before. That isn't all they mean, though. The A also means anima, and the B means body. Anima is another word for the soul, or the consciousness. Body is, well, exactly what it says on the tin. The past consciousness will go into the future body, and the future consciousness will go into the past body. They switch. That was the chief goal of the project.
Wait, so the future person goes into the past person?
Sigma, do you remember the note you found in the garden?
You mean this, right?
Yes. Ah, of course, it was you who investigated the garden in this timeline.
Yeah.
Sigma, take a good look at this. It's an illustration of the time jumps your consciousness is making. A is where everything began. December 25th, 2028. You inhaled the white smoke in your car and lost consciousness. From there, you jumped to B. January 25th, 2074. You woke up in one of the AB rooms in Rhizome 9. You are in your own body, but it is 67 years old. Your consciousness has jumped 45 years into the future. I believe that may explain why you didn't notice the reduced lunar gravity. The body you woke up in was much older. Normally, you would have noticed that your muscles were much weaker. In this case, however, the lower gravity balanced that out. Moving on, if you continue along this line, what happens next? You reach C, which is January 27th, 2074. That is today.
Whoa. Wait, what do you mean? Are you saying it's been 2 days since we woke up?
36 hours to be exact. Have you already forgotten? You were all infected with Radical 6. The virus slowed your brain down. So yes, 36 hours of real time have passed.
Schieß 36 Stunden ohne Schlaf.
But to you, it only seemed like 14 hours and 40 minutes. Now comes the important part. After this, your consciousness will return to the past. It will re-emerge at point D. April 13th, 2029. You will return to your younger body.
But that's the same day as the reactor explosions.
Yes. That is why I said it will be too late. You will return to the past, but the events you would want to prevent will have already happened. The story does not end there, however. The line continues. After reaching point D, you will eventually return to B, but this time, you won't be jumping through time, or at least not at a rate faster than normal. Your consciousness will spend 45 years inhabiting the same body until you reach point B.
Aber was ab Point B passiert, machen wir erst das nächste Mal. Ja, das dauert noch lange. Es ist noch viel Text, das jetzt kommt, Sandra. Ich hab's gespielt. Würde ich sagen, war's das für heute. Wir sehen uns dann beim nächsten Mal. Bis dann, Leute. Ciao.